Is it true that you collaborate with CIA and US government to invade Mexico?
Okay, no. There's an energy, there's a spirit here in Puerto Vallarta. That's the best way I can describe it. And I feel it, it touches me. It doesn't make me happy, but it helps me to be happy. It makes me feel good.
En esta ocasión estamos en Puerto Vallarta, México. Les presento al profesor J.W. Harper. Bienvenidos a otro video. El día de hoy, tenemos a Jeffrey Harper. Pasó a ser coordinador de idiomas a nivel nacional en la Universidad de Vizcaya. También entrena maestros para la enseñanza de inglés. Y además de ser mi amigo personal, ya que él fue también mi maestro de inglés durante la universidad. En este video vamos a hablar sobre lo que es ser un extranjero viviendo en México. Vamos a conocer un poco de la vida de Jeffrey.
Gracias, Anselmo, por la invitación. Como te dije, cuando tengo que presentar o hablar en español, estoy un poco nervioso, pero no hay problema. Llegué en México hace 11 años y viví en Tepic por 7 años. Tengo 4 años en Puerto Vallarta y pues creo que México es donde voy a quedarme para siempre, por siempre. Y ya.
Are you happy here, Jeff?
Yes, very much. I love coming here every day.
What do you love the most in Puerto Vallarta?
Oh no, that's an impossible question. Of course, I love the ocean, I love the beach, I love the sun.
Yes.
But I think the best part of Puerto Vallarta are the people. It's a mix of people from different places.
Yes.
You have Europeans, you have North Americans, you have and of course the people from Mexico, and it's just this community of people that they all live together and they all work together, and in the good times and the bad times everybody takes care of each other.
Yes.
So
it is a good community.
yes, it's a very good
Yes.
community.
Okay. Is it true that you collaborate with CIA and US government to invade Mexico?
Okay, no. The only secrets I'm trying to steal are how to make good tacos.
Is it true that you teach English to Mexican people to impose American culture in Mexico?
Oh no, that is not. It's interesting because 10 years ago I was teaching high school students, and one girl, she was 15 years old, and she asked me very directly one day, why did your country steal Texas and California and New Mexico? I mean, I was surprised, and she was indignant. She was indignant, a 15-year-old girl, and I told her, I wasn't around when that happened.
Ahora sí las preguntas serias. Why did you decide to come to live to Mexico?
I used to be married. I'm a widower. I met my husband in 2001 in California, and we lived together in California for 10 years. He was Mexican. He was from Tepic, Nayarit. And in 2011, we moved to Tepic, Nayarit. And he passed away 3 years ago. But, Mexico is my home now. I don't plan to go back to the United States.
What do you love the most about Mexico?
Oh, that's a hard question because there isn't one thing that I love most about Mexico. In Mexico, I love the food. But it's not just about tacos and burritos and chilaquiles. No, there is food that's different all over the country. You have the food from the north. You have the food from Oaxaca. I mean, if I had to pick one thing, I would say the food.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition, you have so much. You have art, fashion, dance. I've been very fortunate. I have traveled all over Mexico. I've been to 21 of the 32 states. Mm-hmm. I learned Spanish when I came to Mexico.
Mm.
So
not in a high school.
Well, I studied in high school and university. When you learn in a school in the United States or in another country, it's not the same as learning in the country where they speak the language. It's completely different.
You involve with the culture and the people.
Yes, you're not just learning the language, you're learning how they learn the language, the culture behind the language.
What do you like the least about Mexico?
Well, it has to do with transit, driving cars and everything. The transit culture in Mexico is very different than what I grew up with. When I was 15 years old, so it was at my high school, and it was one semester. Here in Mexico, it's chaos. I mean, it's every person is driving for themselves. They don't want to get into an accident. However, it's like they don't care if they cut off somebody. They don't let the people walking on the sidewalk to cross. They just drive and they cut them off and they.
Is there anything else that you don't like the most?
Well, and this is another thing. This is just how I was brought up. My personal space, like in the United States, people give you space. They don't, right, they're not right next to you or behind you or at the ATM machine. They're looking, like when I'm typing the numbers, they're so close to me.
Yes.
It's the lack of personal space that people give me.
Actually, I'm aware about it because I work in a restaurant. So my coworkers, they get really near of the customers, American customers or even, Mexican customers, but I can see in the face of the people who is like a little bit uncomfortable.
They feel uncomfortable. Yes. They may not say anything, but they feel, it's almost like an anxiety.
What do you love the most about USA?
I was born in the United States. I grew up in the United States. There are a lot of things that I love. It has every climate you can imagine. I mean, I've been to Hawaii, which is beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful big waves, amazing pineapple and coffee and beautiful sunsets. I feel like I just described Puerto Vallarta, actually.
Yes.
It's the same things I love about the United States that I love about Mexico.
But it's different.
Well, it's hamburgers and hot dogs in the United States, and it's mole and pozole in Mexico. But there are parts of Mexico, when I drive around Mexico, and I tell myself, wow, this could be Kansas.
About American people, what do you like the most?
That's a hard question. Well, I have to say, the last few years have been a little difficult for Americans. Due to government, we've had a lot of civil unrest, a lot of racism, a lot of homophobia. But what do I love about the people of the United States? Well, in a general sense, they are more respectful about time. If a meeting starts at 2 o'clock, the meeting starts at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I have to admit, in Mexico, it's a little more casual. It's a little more, 2 o'clock is really a suggestion.
El ahorita.
Like, exacto, ahorita.
What is your favorite place in Mexico?
Well, Puerto Vallarta is my favorite place in Mexico. There is no doubt about that. It's hard to explain. I know a lot of people that love Puerto Vallarta, and they can't explain why they love it. There's an energy, there's a spirit here in Puerto Vallarta. That's the best way I can describe it. And I feel it. It touches me. It doesn't make me happy, but it helps me to be happy. It makes me feel good. My second favorite place, I love La Ciudad de Mexico. I love Mexico City. I mean,
what is it like to be a foreigner in Mexico? Is it easy? Is it difficult?
Well, when I first came to Mexico, I lived in Tepic, Nayarit. And Tepic is not a tourist destination. Things are a little bit different. I had to learn a different way of dealing with people with work. But I also had to learn things like, turning on the boiler. I never in my life had to turn on the boiler.
Really?
I never had to get on the roof to check the tinaco for water. I mean, those things sound silly when you talk about them at first.
Yes.
The language, it was, I could speak a little, very basic. But I was afraid, like any person who learns a foreign language, I was afraid to speak because I thought, I'm going to sound stupid.
Yes. So you were smart.
Yes, I was smarter in English. And I was dumb in Spanish.
Okay.
But I didn't talk very much. I didn't give my opinion. Sometimes I shake my head or say no, yes, or I put my thumb up.
Have you ever been rejected or have had a racist treatment in Mexico?
No, I don't feel like I've ever had that.
Point for Mexico.
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite food? Mexican food.
Okay, my favorite Mexican food is pozole. I love pozole. I love tamales. I love mole. And then my next favorite is cochinita pibil from Yucatan.
Yes.
Oh my god, so good.
Quesadilla has automatically cheese or not?
Well, if you're in Mexico City, it does not automatically have cheese if you order a quesadilla. In the rest of Mexico, yes, it has cheese.
But what do you prefer? Which version do you prefer?
I've never had a quesadilla without cheese.
Excellent. What is the most complicated word in Spanish for you?
Parangari kutirimicuaro.
You can say it perfectly.
But it feels like I have rocks in my mouth.
Is there any other word, for example, that you like? For example, in my personal vocabulary, to say murderer, it's difficult. Murderer. Asesino. Murderer.
Murderer.
What?
I can see that.
How?
Murderer.
Say it.
Murderer.
Murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Murderer. Okay.
I hated to say buenas tardes. So I would say like buenas tardes. That's how I felt. That's how I felt like it sounded. One day I was working at Tecnológico de Tepic, and I looked up at the guard, not thinking, just like, and I said buenas tardes, and I walked in and I go, oh, I said it, and I realized it's because I was thinking too much. Speaking a language is not about thinking; it's a physical activity. It's it's like exercising. Working out.
Y hasta aquí la parte 1 de esta entrevista con Jeffrey. No te pierdas la continuación de esta entrevista. Y les dejo por aquí parte del recorrido que hice con Jeffrey en el malecón de Puerto Vallarta. Y estas hermosas imágenes, miren el color del agua, las cuales hice con ayuda del dron. Y podemos ver parte de la zona romántica de Puerto Vallarta.